550, and like I said in my pickups video, I told you I was going to talk to you about, you know, the Resident Evil 6 trailer and stuff like that. But, yeah. I mean, I don't know. People are saying that it's going to be better than Resident Evil 5 and stuff. But, honestly, yeah. It looks like it's going to be an okay game, but I don't know. Yeah, the game. So far, the series is just going. I just see it's just going downhill. I mean, I know there's going to be people that disagree with me, but at the very least, just hear what I have to say. You know, at least about what my opinion is and everything. And you know, if you guys want to, you know, support the way the Resident Evil is going right now, you know, then we can have our differences right there. So that's all good stuff. But I don't know. I played the Resident Evil games ever since they released back in 1995 with the PlayStation 1, all the way up to what we got now. The only game I haven't played is it's Gun Survivor. I think it's called Gun Survivor 2, which is an arcade version of Code Veronica, which is only released in Japan, which I don't know why they never released that over here. They could have at least released, I think they actually did release a PS2 version of it, but it was only released in Japan, so that'd be really nice if they released it over here with move support or something. But anyways, aside from that, I played all the games, you know, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and, you know, then you got Code Veronica, and then some of the other ones, you know, that were like maybe spin-offs or something like that. But, like, I know with Resident Evil 4, they tried to make a change for it, and it actually went pretty good, you know. I would say that I'm not going to say that that's the best Resident Evil because, yeah. The only reason why it was good is because, you know, they showed what it was capable on, you know, Nintendo GameCube and everything. And they wanted to try out a different angle, at the series. That was when they switched it to, I'm not going to say action because it had the survival horror to it, but, you know, there was action in there, but it had that feeling, you know, of Leon being by himself, you know, I mean, even though he was going after the president's daughter, but, you know, it still had those moments in there that you felt when you were playing, you know, one of the original ones. But now I really don't see it. The reason why it was good is because, you know, it was something new that they wanted to try out, and it was okay with one game, you know. I could see them doing that with one game to try it out, you know, it would be okay. My guess is that since they saw that sold really good, that they were going to take the series in that direction and never go back. Which, yeah. And, which is going to probably make a lot of people say, well, isn't Resident Evil Revelations a good enough game for you, for your survival horror? You know, your survival horror people or whatever. You know what? You can say that, but that's only playable on one fucking system. How about everyone else that's playing on the PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 3, 360, and a PC? You know, even all the other, you know, like phone or whatever. But that's the thing, you know. I mean, I at least thought that when they tried to do the same thing with Resident Evil 5, they said that it you know, it sold more, but that's only because it released on multiple different, you know, systems and, you know, PC and stuff. But other than that, yeah, if they were to release Resident Evil 1 and 2 on multiple consoles, not just PlayStation 1 and yeah, I know they did that with some of the games, but not all of them. But yeah. But yeah, that's just one survival horror deal on there. And people are gonna say, well, Resident Evil 6 has zombies in it, so isn't that good enough for you guys? I can tell you right now, just because the game has zombies doesn't mean it's going back to what it used to be. A good example would be Dead Space. Now, I've heard people say that Dead Space 2 is not what survival, doesn't have that survival horror or whatever. I played number 1, and that's what it is supposed to be about. Dead Space 1 brings that survival horror to you right there. It doesn't need zombies. It just has that, that fear that, when you're walking around and you don't know what the hell is happening. And you had limited fucking ammo, I mean, you didn't have, like, a fucking Gatling gun on your back and all that stuff, or 100 handgun bullets and stuff like that, yeah.
Huh, that doesn't look good. She's taken a lot of damage.
The tram system's offline. Getting around is going to be difficult. The air seems to be flowing again. That's a start.
What the hell was that?
Automatic quarantine must have tripped when the filtration system restarted. Everybody relax.
What was that? Did you hear?
Not sure.
What the hell?
I don't know. Something's in the room with us.
Jesus! Open fire! Open fire! Tinder! Power! Tinder!
Come on. Got it!
Isaac! Get the hell out of there!
The door's unlocked! Run! Run, Isaac! Get the hell out of there!
I mean, at the very least, I thought they would have at least released, when they released or announced Resident Evil 6, they would have at least went back and tried, doing survival horror again, like they used to. But it looks like they want to try and mix action with horror, and now they want to call it dramatic horror. Which I don't even... Anybody could say that it's going to be both, but honestly, it's just like the first time when I saw the trailer for Resident Evil 5, and it just showed Chris and some zombies, or not zombies, but some Magini running after him, and that was it. Some people thought that was possibly going to be, dealing with a zombie or whatever, survival horror. But then people, realized when the game came out that it was nothing like that. It was all action. I enjoyed Resident Evil 5. I got both the Collector's Edition for the 360, and I got the regular one for the PS3 to prove it right there. I've beaten it on both systems, and I pretty much platinumed this game right here on the PS3. I still gotta do a few more things on here, and then I'll have all the achievements. So, but yeah, they're okay games, but they're not what Resident Evil should be. I mean, yeah. It's just, I don't know how people can say that action is better than horror of what it used to be. And see, that's the thing. When some people like me that want the old Resident Evils to be brought back to the way it should be, people think, well, we don't want the controls where you gotta fucking move around like a tank or something. And we're not saying that. I mean, you can keep the genre of survival horror and change all the other elements if you wanted to, but just keep that fucking shit there, and focused on that. That was the main reason why Resident Evil was, popular, and that's why a lot of people followed that after the first game came out, because it had that fear factor. I mean, people can say it's fucking cheesy or whatever, but unless you played it back in the day, and you played all the other ones up to now, I mean, there's probably going to be some people that say that, that did that stuff, but they still think that, these ones are better, but I just don't see that. I mean, what's really still better about action over the survival horror of the games? From what I can tell, one of the examples that I think is going to happen, that they tested it out with, was Dino Crisis. Because, I mean, a lot of you probably already know what happened to that. But I don't know if any of you guys figured this out. But it seems like when they released Dino Crisis 1, and it was similar to, Resident Evil, and people were saying that it was just Resident Evil with dinosaurs. I guess Capcom felt the need to switch it up, and when they released Dino Crisis 2, you could pretty much get all your guns and you can shoot all the dinosaurs and everything. I think that was the test for action right there. And it was a pretty good game, You beat it, and I don't know why. They left it at a cliffhanger. I mean, you could probably... since it's, deals with time or whatever, you can pretty much guess what could probably happen, but it's just the way they left it off. They could have made a true sequel to that instead of Dino Crisis 3, which is they amped up the action more and threw it on a spaceship and changed the way the dinosaurs look, and yeah. I mean, I got Dino Crisis 3, it's not the best. I mean, it went way downhill from what, what Dino Crisis was. I mean, and after that, they just said the hell with it, and they weren't going to make anything else. The only thing that they did that was probably okay was the game called Dino Stalker, which was a game that used the gun con on the PS2, which, I don't know, not a lot of people knew, I guess. At least I didn't know it at first when it came out, that Dino Stalker was actually a part of the Dino Crisis series. So, I mean, it's not like a major story in the Dino Crisis series, but at least it was something that they threw out there, But, I don't know. they need to bring that series back and like redo it. I mean, at the very least, if they're gonna go fucking action horror on this fucking Resident Evil series, they should, you know, if they bring back Donna Crisis, they should make that full survival horror then, since they're not doing it with this. But that's still not good enough, you know. Because, yeah, I don't know. I guess that was their test, and, you know, it really didn't work out with number 3, so they just canned the whole entire series and put it on hold after that. So, and I just think that this series is gonna end up being like that if they don't go back to, you know, what made it. I can sit here and keep on talking about how they, you know, fuck things up. Like, I got a list here that I wrote down while I was at work, just because I wanted to talk about this stuff. You know, I mean, I wrote down action only, you know, because that's what Resident Evil 5 was. It's full you know, not survival horror, but action. And I swear to God, at the very least, why in the hell in Resident Evil 6 do we have the playable characters are Chris and Leon? Now, I know those are popular characters, but come on. Leon was in 4, Chris was in 5, and now we gotta play with them again in fucking 6. They've been in at least 3 games for, you know, Chris has been in 3 games and Leon has been in 3 games. And that's not even including the movies that are out. I'm pretty sure that the next CGI movie that's coming out, I think it's Damnation, that it's going to be about Chris and Leon. My guess is they're going to release that before Resident Evil 6, so that way it tells you what happens leading up to the game. And that's why I think they haven't released it yet. But either way, why the focus on Chris and Leon when there's other characters in the series that they could explore? Barry, you got Rebecca, and you know, you got Barry, Rebecca, Billy Cohen, you got other guys too. Anybody that's been in even the spin-offs, you know, I mean, at least do something different, you know. But come on. And then, yeah, I think it was like about a week or 2 ago where I read an article that I guess somebody at Capcom said that their focus was to try and bring the Call of Duty fans over to Resident Evil, and yeah, that just pissed me off right there. I mean, if you're trying to do that, you're gonna fail. Because I'm telling you right now, the way everything is set up, that I figured the way that console generations were, each console generation has a certain genre that proves to be popular at the time, you know. Last generation on the PS2, it was RPGs, and I think there was another one. But this generation, it's shooters, FPSs, and that's it. I mean, as far as I can tell, every single company is trying to follow in the footsteps of fucking Call of Duty. And the thing that pisses me off is, it's like everyone fucking lost their balls or they were cut off or something, is because they don't have the balls to fucking make their own game and call it their own, because they gotta follow someone else's lead, you know. I mean, at least fucking do something different that's not the same thing as everyone else. I mean, you could say you don't want to sit here and take risks, but that's how a lot of the good games back in the days came out, and they were popular. I mean, yeah, you know, Twisted Metal, I mean, Resident Evil, and there was an article about a guy, I think at Capcom or somebody that used to work there, that said that they Lost Planet, and I think it was Lost Planet and fucking hell, I can't remember. I think that game with fucking Frank. I know what the game is, but I can't even think of the name right now. I'm so fucking tired. But Dead Rising. The guy that made those games said that he went against Capcom's went behind Capcom's back and still made those games, even though they told them that they didn't. But they were still popular and stuff like that, you know. I mean, but now, like, when when everyone, like, the way I see it, it's like somebody else, I can't remember who said this, but it seems like the only people that are in charge, that the developers and companies cater to, are to the shareholders. They want to get the most money out of all their games. They don't listen to the fans. I mean, just look at Mega Man. I know people are going to say, well, you know, you can't use that as an excuse, but yeah. I honestly, I can't say that I'm a, you know, I really don't play Mega Man that much. I know that it pissed a lot of people off, you know, with what Capcom did, and, you know, I'm with them. Because how the fuck can you do that to a series when people have, you know, even helped you at that point, get so far, and then you tell them that you're just going to cancel it, and then you come back and you say, well, you know, we're still looking into getting, you know, making that game. It's just fucking insane, you know. I mean, you look at the rate of where Capcom, you know, how far Capcom was going down. I mean, you can look at the way that the games were going down since, you know, actually since the beginning of this generation, you know. I mean, look at the way they're overusing DLC. I mean, you know, Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 and everything. I mean, come on. That's another game that I bought that they fucked a lot of people over right there, and honestly, it's just getting to the point where if it gets any worse, I probably just won't buy any more games from my Capcom or whatever. Or if I do, I'll just buy them used. Because why should I give a company money if they're not gonna give us what we want? It's as simple as that. And it's just like, you know, people say, the companies can tell you that they'll do whatever they want, but we're the ones that you know, that pay for them to do the game. If we don't give them any money, then they ain't gonna do shit, and they're gonna change their attitude. But it just seems like, regardless of what people do, they're gonna go out and buy the game because that's what they want. And I don't know if it's true or not, but it just seems like even it doesn't really matter if they change Resident Evil or not. Die-hard fans are still gonna support it no matter what, because they don't want to see their series die, you know. But at this point, I really don't see it, and I'm just talking to you as honest as I can, because I was really put down with the way this story ended with Resident Evil 5 and just everything overall with it. You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's like a video. I'll probably put the video into this on, you know, what they could have done, you know, with Resident Evil. I mean, you know, before Resident Evil 4 came out, they had a concept video that they were showing, you know, that had something similar to static camera angles, but when you were aiming your gun, it'd go into the over-the-shoulder mode where you actually are shooting, you know, the guys and stuff, which was actually, I don't know why they stopped that. Probably because they didn't want people to keep on switching back and forth, but You could have at least made that a fucking option, you know? But yeah, I don't know. And then another idea is there's just too much fucking focus on multiplayer. I mean, I'm gonna say that I can deal with Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City because, that deals with, Raccoon City. You're inside of a city and that's pretty much what you can expect, which would make for a good game, That'd be awesome. But when you're forcing people to play multiplayer like this, and you force another character on them, and you gotta try and make sure, like if you're not playing online, you gotta make sure that you're watching her back, because especially when you're playing on professional, because just one fucking hit and that she's dead. But yeah, I don't know, it just seems like that's another thing too about this generation, is everyone is focused on multiplayer. Even the games that don't fucking need it, they're just shoving it into the game and giving it to everybody. I mean, Uncharted, as far as I know, it didn't need multiplayer. I mean, the story was good enough where you didn't need it. But I guess they wanted to try and appeal to the Call of Duty fans as well and throw that in there, And And then Dead Space, I mean, I really don't know how good that is for multiplayer, but they threw that in as well. Because usually when I play a game, I mostly focus on the main story of the game, and that's how I usually play it. So, you know, like when they release a DLC, how would you release fucking just DLC for, like, character costumes and stuff like that? The only DLC that I'll ever buy is something that adds more to the story. And that's the only thing that I would ever spend my money on. But then again, you can throw a counter argument in there saying, well, then we're not getting the full game, which I kind of, you know, I kind of understand, but, you know, it'd be like this. They could, you know, add on content for this right here. They could maybe do like a side story of Chris leading up to Resident Evil 6 and release it in chapters, you know. So while they're working on Resident Evil 6, about every, you know, 2 or 3 months they could maybe release, you know, side chapters in between the games leading up to Resident Evil 6. So that way everyone's ready to go for it, you know. But, I don't know. I just don't see why they have to change the game in order to appeal to a different kind of game, you know. It just doesn't make any sense. But, yeah. This is just the problems that I have on the Resident Evil series. I mean, Resident Evil 6 looks like it'll be okay, but I just want to see a survival horror game, focused survival horror game, nothing else, no action bullshit, just survival horror. But it doesn't seem like we're gonna get that. The only way that we'll ever get that is if Resident Evil 6 doesn't sell good and that's it. But my guess is if that happened, they would probably just not even bother with it, and they would just, you know, say forget it. And they would probably just shove it like they did with Dino Crisis. People like the series, but they fucking fucked up on making the game. It's simple as that. If you change a game from what it originally was, then you're gonna fucking end up failing the whole series. And you're gonna pay for that. It's as simple as that. But in my next video I'm gonna talk about maybe how they could possibly bring back the series, you know. So hopefully you guys will look forward to that. I know that maybe more than likely a lot of you are probably gonna maybe disagree with me, but that's okay, you know. You know, I respect your guys' opinions and stuff like that, so. But if anything, I want to leave a question with you guys. Or 2 questions. What do you think of the way Resident Evil is now that they switch it to action, and now they're trying to throw survival horror back in the mix? But, yeah. We honestly don't know if it's going to be half horror and half action. It looks like that Leon's story will be survival horror, and Chris's will be action, so we'll just have to wait and see on that. I ain't gonna say anything until we get more info, which is why I'm reserving my judgment wholly until then. I'm still gonna buy the games, but if it doesn't change after this one, then yeah. But the next question is going to be, if you do like the action, you know, the action part of these games, at least, you know, throw some good reasons down why it is. I mean, because I just don't see it. I mean, it's just like throwing something into a game that's not going to work. Another series that's ending up like that is Final Fantasy. They're changing it from what it originally was. You used to be able to go anywhere you want in that, you know, depending on what, I guess, world you were at, you can go anywhere, but now you're on a set path, and that's the only places you can go. You can't go back anywhere else or anything like that. But, those are the questions and stuff. Hopefully you guys will throw some down there. I'm pretty sure some of you will. But, next video will be up soon, so thanks for watching, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Peace.